Good morning. It's so chilly out here. We're having the first snow of the year in BC, Canada. This gorgeous day. It's very light snow, but I'm out here to tell you about this exciting thing that I found super resonates with me, which is called the psychic pathway. And I know it sounds all woo-woo and everything, and for me, being a social psychology kind of scientist, it's like a little woo-woo, but here it is. It comes with a workbook. I'm listening to it on Audible, and the reason it resonates with me so much is because I've always been stuck in my head, analyzing, rationalizing, logicking, and I realize over a lot of years of observing my reactions is that all kind of came from a intent to protect my heart from being hurt, feeling like rejection is it activates my like abandonment issues. There's like a raw share, but so it's safe for all of us to kind of be stuck in our heads to protect the heart from feeling that rejection or pain or I don't know, pain, all kinds of pain, all kinds of loss, all kinds of being judged or ridiculed or bulldozed over, like bullied and stuff. So all of that, whenever we get caught up in our head trying to rationalize and work, and you realize this when you have a headache, when you're all in your head, lost in thought, maybe having trouble sleeping even, or meditating because the mind is so busy. That tells you that you have an overactive mind trying to do everything up here. And now I'm learning that this heart space is actually a second brain. Got three brains: the head brain, the heart brain, and then the gut brain. And this heart is actually the center of our entire being. This is the space that they found more signals go to the brain from the heart than vice versa. And this heart is connected to our spiritual essence, to our gut. When you have like a gut feeling, it's the heart feeling something, sending those signals down to that, I think, anyways. So this whole last, 10 plus years of my life has been about getting out of my head and feeling my feelings. And it's so simple to say that, and children do it so naturally, but for me, it's been a block, and I think for many of us that I see, it is a block because it is so vulnerable, and the heart is so delicate, and it can be so fragile. It could be very powerful too, like very strong emotions, and how emotions take over our logic, and we don't even make sense sometimes when we're so emotional, or we get reactive. For me, if I feel a little bit of resistance or a little bit of like rejection, I'm not very good with having boundaries of my own as well, so that doesn't help. So I take it as being rejected, abandoned somehow, and that's very painful for me. So I jump into my head and I go on the attack, because then it's like, how they say offense is the best defense. Then I'm protecting this myself from feeling the pain, because then I'm like attacking and saying, you correct yourself. No, you're the one that's wrong. No, you need to do this so that I can feel better, right? Story of my life with my husband. So today we had a really good discussion about that. I made a confession to him. He's like, I don't understand how you get so reactive when you're like a counselor. I expect more from you because you know all this stuff. You've been doing therapy for other people for over a decade now, So I made this confession, and I'll make this confession out loud to all of you, my loving family, friends, people who follow or will listen to this. If you're listening to this, it's meant for you to be listening to this. I firmly believe that whatever I'm called to listen to at any moment. Today was like Deepak Chopra and Alana Fairchild, radiance meditation and stuff like that. So if you're listening to this, there's something in this for you. Maybe you're finding like you're relating on some level to this, or maybe you're just a sweet friend that wants to comment and support me. But anyway, we had a discussion, and I made this confession to my husband. He said, why are you so unable to like manage your own emotions sometimes? And I said, I'll make a confession to you, because I was talking to him from the heart. I said, whenever you say no to me, I want to understand what that resistance is, because to me it's activating this like little girl inside that's feeling like rejected and unsafe in the world, and what if he's going to abandon me, and what next? Even though logic says I'm fine, I'm independent, I'm a powerful woman, I can take care of myself, I don't need that. But there's that attachment need, you know what I mean? And that fear, that insecurity that comes when that attachment is being threatened and to be ruptured, that he's going to leave. Or not that consciously I don't worry about that, but it's an emotional thing. So I'm just starting to understand and getting into my heart. And so this workbook is all about that. And I made this confession. I keep dancing around making this confession out loud, but maybe I just need to blurt it out and get it over with. So I said to him, I'm like, consciously or mentally, logic, my rational, logical reasoning abilities are yes, at a 40-year-old woman who's got her master's in therapy and hypnotherapy and has done all this work experience. That's here. I can do it for other people very well because my emotions don't get entangled and enmeshed with my, clients or even friends. I can kind of like, hold space for them because I can, differentiate. I see the differentiation between us. But with a husband, it's like you're right here and you're activating all of my stuff. So I said, rationally, I'm 40 and educated, but emotionally, I used to be a 2-year-old, him and I, reacting to each other, slamming doors, throwing things, yelling, screaming. And then I think we've evolved to about an emotional 5. For me anyways, I'm an emotional 5-year-old. And sometimes, because I see my 5-year-old, and it's so beautiful to see my children at age 8, 5, and 3, to then gauge where I'm at emotionally in terms of being able to manage my emotions and how I manage them. Now, my 5-year-old will try to like talk a little and say, no, don't do that, before she screams. And she might scream and like run away. You know what I mean? And then our 8-year-old has a little bit longer way of expressing. Sometimes he's like, I need a break now. And I'll say, don't say so rudely, but I'll give you your space, So I'm somewhere in between that. That was my confession, that I'm emotionally more at like a 5-year-old, maybe an 8-year-old on good days. And I'm trying to expand this self-awareness so that I can, through meditation, find where I'm at. Like that meditative vibe is that connection to the soul, to that spirit within, that connection to like the divine and me. And there's expansion, there's that space inside where the thoughts just kind of disappear, and the body, I can barely feel my body because I'm just in pure presence, pure sense of being and feeling my beingness, if that makes sense. It's just so open, it's so and there's light and there's calm and there's all of this beautiful like creative inspirations that come, and I constantly write those down. So my practice right now is how to stretch this sense of calm and pure awareness into my day-to-day life, and to notice, because we can't always be on a high, like that's kind of, maybe monks can do that or something, but I'm definitely not at that place yet, so I'm trying to like notice when the drop happens, because there's definitely drops multiple times throughout the day, and sometimes I get very bitter about like the kids taking me off my like high. You know what I mean? I'm like, you're such a like, what is it, high kill, what do you guys call that? What do we call that anyways when you're high? Buzzkill. I'm like, you guys, I get on this like meditative buzz, and I'm like so like at peace and want to dance and sing and just like flow with life. And then there's that like they make a request or they battle with each other. It's just like, and I feel all of their stuff. And I think as parents, we are biologically wired to feel the feelings of our kids so that we can respond to them, because that's how the biologic bond helps us with all of our hormones that go shooting off when they're in distress. It creates cortisol in us so that we're motivated to like respond to them, right? And my norepinephrine and epinephrine, especially if you're prone to like anxiety, is going to shoot up, and you're going to respond from that. And I'm trying to notice where I drop from that pure awareness, high vibing, loving space. And then there's a drop. And then this is the biggest, hardest challenge for me, is how to pause, how to stretch that tiny space where they say you have choice between the stimulation coming in, the noise of my kids especially, and my reaction. The stimulation coming in and my reaction. There's that beautiful gap, that time, that little millisecond maybe even, that there's a chance, an opportunity to choose the response rather than having the reaction automatically take over and me like blow up, threaten my kids to, take something away from them, or tell them to go to their room, or, I don't do that much anymore. Or me getting like just as loud, like trying to tower over with my volume and my loudness, you know what I mean? And how to be that presence and really tuning in once I have that pause to what is that divine way, the greater good way to respond. That is greater good, meaning for all of us to have a win, 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 win. There's like 5, so that everyone can win, rather than seeing my oldest as attacking the youngest, pushing him. You should. I do this so much. My poor thing has probably seen this finger pointed at him. Elijah, you should. You're the oldest. You need to be kinder. You need to be more compassionate. You need to be more giving. You need to share. Or Nala to Noah, right? I'm trying to then, now, whenever I pause a little bit and try to find my response, I think of the win-win, so that all the kids feel nurtured by my presence. They feel connection. That connection with me is, established, especially if they're busy playing on their own. They're not connected with me. They're connecting with each other, and children can't connect to each other and manage each other's feelings. That's why they need adults to come in and, scaffold or figure out, like, should I scaffold as in like play it out for them? You need to say this, you should say this, or we say, a lot of times instead of saying you, actually, I should say we ask if we can borrow a toy, we don't just take it, you know what I mean? Or we say it in this tone. Imagine saying in this tone. How do you feel when you say in this tone versus no, it's mine? How do you feel? Like the expansion of the heart. So I'm trying to, settle my own stuff, and parents need to settle their own stuff before they're going to offer a ray of hope to their children being able to manage their stuff. You know what I mean? So this is where I'm at. I've practiced really regular daily meditations for, I would say, months now, to the point where now if I don't tune into myself and find that clear channeling, clear, pure presence and energy and upliftingness of it all, it's like brushing my teeth. I feel like that it's missing. Like I can't really start my day, and sometimes I'm even late, for my appointments or whatever, because it's that important. Because I'm like, what am I offering to my clients if I don't tune into myself? If I have a low vibe and I'm just like running on empty, same with my family, same with my friends, like what am I there to offer? Unfortunately, I'm fortunate enough, and hopefully you are too, that people understand in your life, that people even encourage that, because they get a win out of it when you are at a high vibe, when you have a peaceful presence. You know what I mean? We all have that godly kind of energy within us, and it's about tapping in. For me, it's about tapping in each day, awakening that, and then the next step now, which I'm really working on, is how to stretch it throughout the day. And obviously humanly, I can't do that right now in my level of practice, but I'm starting to notice when the drop happens, I articulate the drop, and then figuring out what I need to get a bit of a pause so that I can recenter, reground myself, find that energy again, and then go. And then throughout the day, maybe I'll need like 15-20 minutes meditation during the morning. Sometimes even 10 is okay. But then throughout the day, when the drops happen, then it's just about 5 minutes, not even, more like 5 breaths. Just slow breaths in, longer breaths out, pause in between. It helps the heart coherence. It helps to calm our mind. It helps the blood circulate back into the whole mind, not just the emotional mind. Anyways, I just had to share all of this with you. It's a 14-minute video. Let me know what resonates, what your practice is, where you're at in your practice. There's no judgment here. It's just about sharing and letting each other know that we can do this. We can evolve. This tapping into our hearts is ultimately about being able to connect to the wholeness of not only ourselves but everyone. This whole human connection, this connection to Earth, Mother Nature. You know what I mean? It's through the self. Much love to you all. Take care.